I teach content creation to high school students full time, or I was. And so we were in a class, we were doing a broadcast, and the student was going to be on camera as the anchor, I guess you could call it. And he was kind of just feeling nervous. And we often do podcasting, and they seem to really enjoy it. We kind of talk about the news of the day. So we kind of did that as an exercise, a warm up. And I was like, all right, let's just treat it like a podcast. What's something that would be interesting to talk about? So, well, I'd like to ask you about Harry Potter. I think he said. I said, all right, hit record. So these guys want to talk about, or JK Rowling. You guys want to talk about JK Rowling? So what's up? And he asked me an interesting question. So how have your views on Harry Potter changed given JK Rowling's bigoted opinions? It's one of those questions where if you don't address the acorn within the question, you're not really being logically responsible, I feel like. So yeah, it was just a natural exchange that I've had often and wasn't really thinking about it at the time. And then later I looked at it and I was like, that's interesting. And so yeah, that was how it came about, to answer your question.
So you're teaching high schoolers, and you have this exchange, and you walk the student through their thinking and their assumptions, right? And you just through asking questions in a very, very calm way. So I guess first question is, you put it up on YouTube. Why did you put the video up on YouTube?
Yeah.
Which I think that's how it ended up on Twitter. Am I right? Or did you actually post it on Twitter as well?
I did not post it on Twitter. I haven't been active at the time. I hadn't been active on Twitter about 4 years. I did have an account from a previous school where I taught. They were very active on Twitter, and we uploaded all the newscasts, and the students enjoyed that. But I hadn't in a long time. I had been inspired, honestly, by Jordan Peterson, where he was recording his lectures. I thought, that's really smart. It's because it's such an interesting technology, YouTube. I agree with him that it is a Gutenberg revolution. We don't fully understand the consequences or the ramifications, what this could mean when we have the ability to, when you're just teaching with a group of students. It has the potential, if someone finds it interesting, to reach so many other students. And what are the ramifications of that on education? That was kind of in the back of my mind for a few years. I hadn't really uploaded anything in that format in a while. I used to, when I first started teaching, I did that often, not often, but whenever I could. I thought it was useful to have a documented, and also you can use that for your teaching portfolio. And often we have to provide evidence of our teaching. And it's really easy when you just have a video of yourself teaching. Many teachers probably don't like that. They wouldn't want to do that, but I enjoy it. So that was the thought process. I uploaded it kind of to my YouTube. I wouldn't call it a teaching portfolio channel, but it had a kind of a mixture of that along with my narrative experiments. And it's just kind of been no one's really been watching it before this. It was just kind of a journal of my video work.
Yeah. How many subscribers were on the channel before this video took off?
I had uploaded a feature film that I wrote and produced back in 2013, and we had gone through the distribution game that you play, which I learned my lesson. It didn't amount to much, and I thought, I'm just going to share this on YouTube. I'll get more. I'll be able to potentially I uploaded that got 300,000 views, which I was like, whoa, that's the only thing I'd ever uploaded that's ever done that prior to this. And that I had about 3,000 subscribers as a result of that. I since took it down when I was able to then reach the number to monetize. But when I tried to monetize to YouTube, I think they thought I had just uploaded a movie. They didn't understand that this was my movie and they wouldn't monetize me. So I deleted it. And so I got rid of all those views, but that's where the subscribers came from.
Gotcha.
Just 3,000.
So you're a teacher. You have an interesting lesson. The student's voice can be heard, but cannot be seen. So it's really just a disembodied voice asking some questions about JK Rowling and whether she's a transphobe, and you calmly walk through it, and it takes off. So why did it take off? I mean, I just checked before we started recording, and that the original tweet has 45 million views on it, which is just astonishing. Why do you think that took off the way it did? Because at one level, it's what I think any normal, reasonable person would say is what a good teacher should be doing, which is getting a student to think critically about their beliefs.
And people have asked me that, and I've spent these past months trying to get to the bottom of that because that is the question. And it's never one thing. It's always multi-layered. But I think, well, first and foremost, because there's a transformation that occurs. There's a real-time epiphany, which is rare, I guess. And without change, it's essential in filmmaking and in storytelling with the 3-act structure. If there's no change, there really hasn't been a journey. So there is kind of that 3-act structure within it. I think resonates instinctively. People aren't identifying that in a YouTube video, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And that just got lucky that occurred. But also, I think it was how we mentioned before, there's that acorn within the question itself that, I don't know if that's the right term, but there's a presupposition. And that's often that is how presuppositions present themselves. They're kind of just baked into a larger question and you need to address that. And I think it's because it was minimal. There wasn't trying to tell the student they're wrong. It wasn't trying to prove a point. The evidence did the work. It was just a matter of asking the right questions in order to have the evidence become available. And there was really I wasn't making a statement or interjecting an opinion. I think that had a lot to do with it.
So, set the stage for me a little bit. So because what comes next, is the school ends up firing you, and I want to hear that. And you posted a video about that was very raw and also very restrained, but very clearly emotional. Like I don't know if that was the same day. Maybe that's my first question: is when you posted that video that you had been fired from your job for going viral, or for whatever they claimed it was. Did that happen that day and you posted that video? Tell me about that experience.
No, that video was posted the day after.
Okay.
When I got fired, I came home. It happened around 10 in the morning, or 11 in the morning. And I came home and I just was kind of dazed. And it's strange, and I can get into it a bit and tell you more. But to answer your question, there was a physical response. It's weird. It was a physical response. I just started throwing up and slept on the bathroom floor that day. And then the next day I went and walked. There's some trails by my house. I just walked and walked.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just going to sit down and record this it would be unwise to post this now. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm going to get it off my chest. And that's what I did. And I waited and didn't do anything with it. So that was when I recorded that video. As far as how it came about, that occurred 4 months after the viral video. And the reason that was articulated to me, and I don't want to speculate, I can only communicate what was articulated directly to me on the day. And the rest is because we can't read anyone's mind, but we can apply critical thinking and logic and induct what reasoning we think might be behind it. But I had uploaded a video that was almost identical in format that came about in a similar, remember I mentioned to you how I have hours of podcasts with kids and student projects and stuff. And I was hesitant to share any of that because things just got when there's that many eyes on something, or there's a reaction, we should say, to a video like that, you combine that with workplace politics that exist at any job where there's that many people, and suddenly imagine how that exacerbates something like that, where we have multiple sets of leadership. And anyways, and then you have some teachers who disagreed with the video. You have some, whether it's about JK Rowling or not, some of them disagreed fundamentally about JK Rowling. Some of them disagreed with the exercise itself, even though a student wasn't on camera. though I did shortly after that met with the leadership and the lawyers, and they articulated, because I had just done Pierce Morgan, and that was the day they were like, it was 2 days after the viral thing happened, done Pierce Morgan. They were like, all right, we got to sit you down with like the head leadership, because this is beyond me kind of. And some people might want to talk to you. Maybe there's a podcast that wants to talk to you or something, and I'm sure you're going to probably want to continue making stuff on YouTube because this is a remarkable opportunity logically.
Yeah.
And so they sat down and we went through it, and they're like, well, yeah, no rules were broken. And please just, we wish you congratulations. We wish you the best of luck. Please just don't divulge the name of the school or the student,
Mm-hmm.
but in your video, there's no student, there's nothing divulging the identity of the school. And they said, and you handled it well. You didn't interject an opinion. And the reception was very good. So they seemed to kind of, and that seemed to really frustrate a lot of people, that I wasn't kind of fired right away or something. Like there's two sets of principles, and I get some of them are just great. I never had an issue. And there's one that things had already been a bit strange, and this again exacerbated it. And one of them, that there's like 4 people that were very close, and my life just kind of, things just got it weirder and weirder. And I felt like there was just, and again, this was where critical thinking comes in. It allows you to kind of see these patterns and infer what are motivations. But anyway, so I had an interaction with a student that was almost identical, same run time, same format, same result. It was very, except this student took the position that JK Rowling was racist or something about Hermione, and so
a lot of obsession with JK Rowling at your school, I guess. I mean, it makes sense.
Well,
the Harry Potter and everything.
That was on me, because I was curious about I asked the student in this case. That student just asked me cold in the first video. This one I did ask the student. And anyway, so I thought, okay, this would be, because a lot of people thought that first interaction was fake. I thought, well, wait till they see this one. So I did upload it, and then 8 days went by, and then they called me in to a meeting and said, well, we can't trust, we've decided to part ways because we can't trust you to not upload content online. And I thought, I thought, are you talking about that blah, 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 that student? I checked with his parents. I did all the steps I've done for the past 4 years. I even did an additional step and got direct permission from the parents. Like, how is it okay before? And they said, well, there was this one sentence email and it was literally a 1-sentence email. It was the only written change that occurred since the viral thing. It said, if you're going to upload anything, check with your supervising principal. And again, there's multiple sets of principals, and on paper, this one's it doesn't matter. And I didn't check with them. And so, to be fair, there was, I guess, I don't know if that was an additional box that had been added or if it had always existed, and they just chose that it didn't apply earlier, and that's their prerogative, to be fair. I don't think anyone should be forced to pay someone they don't want to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it is a business, this school. It's not like a regular public school that I don't want to provide anything that would allow people to search them or anything, or deduce anything.
So it's a private school,
though. You could say, yeah.
Play that through. So this happened. What was the opportunity? You got media coverage. Obviously, we're here talking. But how did you understand what the doors that were starting to open meant? That you would say, okay, there's something here, and I need to see where it goes actively so that I don't feel like I've missed an opportunity. What did that break that down for me?
I honestly, I didn't know, and I don't know to this day. I'm in the middle of the unknown right now, like more so than ever, but you just keep going one step at a time, as cliche as that sounds. When it happened on a Sunday, and a friend texted me, they said, Elon Musk tweeted a video about you. Okay. I don't know what that means. So I couldn't even remember my login password. He's like, dude, reset your password, because this is only going to last for like 2 weeks, if that.
Yeah, or 48 hours.
Right. And then, so yes, exactly. So within that 48 hours, so Pierce Morgan's show, they only care about that 48 hours. They asked me to come on. I'm faced with this dilemma. Do I run it up the chain at school? Because what's going to happen is I go to the principal who's already, and he's just going to say, well, this is beyond me. I got to run it up to the person who's in charge. She's not even in the building. And that's the person who fired me eventually. So then my fear is that she would say, no, you can't do it. What do I do in that position? Right? Like, so I just didn't ask for permission. I just did it and asked for forgiveness. Worked out. Because again, I'll probably never speak to Pierce Morgan again. It was just a guy like me. It's just like a once in a lifetime thing. I'm going to go for it. I don't know what's going to happen the next day, but I know today I can do that. And some people will scoff at, oh, you're a grifter. You're talking to Pierce Morgan because your video went viral. Yeah. Now, a video going viral doesn't make you anything. That's a flash in the pan. It was dumb luck. That doesn't mean I deserve an audience. It doesn't mean I can grow a YouTube channel. So then I had faced with, okay, there is this potential here, but that's not real. I have to try and turn it into something real. It takes a lot of experimentation. But again, this is what I teach. This is what, if I'm mom, why teach the students how to do this stuff if I'm not going to be willing to take the chance myself? So then I start throwing the spaghetti at the wall and trying to find my footing. One other teacher, me, we use our personal gear to set up a space in my house to start recording YouTube videos. Once a week we would record one and just try and learn and adjust. And so I don't know. Honestly, it's a good question. I don't know what it means. You never know what's going to. Someone wants to talk to you. And then it goes completely blank. You know it does go blank. People are like, oh, this has changed everything. You know it potentially can, but it doesn't really. Then it goes quiet and you're just trying to grow a YouTube channel. Yes, there's some people now watching it, but it can vanish like this. So when you are in the unknown, it's stressful. But the way I see it now with this latest development, I am all in and I'm going to try and make the most of it. It's still scary though.
If you like this clip, you should check out the full video and all the other great content we've got at Dad Saves America. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss our new stuff as it drops each week.